Have you ever wanted to play Rabies, but the skill just feels ass to play? Then I have the build for you. This is a Tornado Rabies Werewolf Druid utilizing aspect of the Rabid Bear. When Grizzly Rage is active, skills that critically strike apply Rabies and your poison damage is increased by 153%. Using that, along with the tornado aspect, and it has a nice damage multiplier on it thanks to the mid-season update. And using um, this aspect as well, Grizzly Rage is now a werewolf skill. This is the Dire Wolf aspect, and the duration of Grizzly Rage is increased by 8 seconds. This is the Rampaging Werebeast aspect. With these aspects combined, you are able to cast out tornadoes that apply rabies, which so far has been really fun, and it's just a really nice build to play. Let's go ahead and try it. 45 pit. So I've been just working on this build, but since before the mid-season update, trying everything out. It got quite a few nice buffs with the mid-season update. There was buffs to Grizzly Rage. There was buffs to the Rabid Beast aspect of the Rabid Bear. There were buffs to Constricting Tendrils Paragon Glyph. There was buffs to Rabies. There was buffs to Tornado. So this build itself has had a lot of buffs, and it is pretty good. It's feeling nice. I haven't really had a chance to mess around with it too much yet today, but I am going to continue to keep pushing and upgrading the gear as much as I can and just see how far I can actually push this build. I was doing tier 3s earlier, and it seems fine damage wise. It's just more on the defensive side. I feel like I need to work on either getting more health, more armor. I think all my resistances are capped at the moment, so I think that's not really an issue. I think that changes when you go into tier 3 though. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so I'm just really been working on figuring out what to do to make this build work, and figuring out what multipliers I can add to the build to increase the damage. And so far, like I said, it feels really smooth because you just throw out tornadoes, and when they critically strike, they apply rabies to the enemies, and it just really helps the overall clear. And it just seems like it's a really cool way to play around rabies, and I just want to continue to keep pushing this build as far as I can because I've always really liked the skill itself of rabies, but I don't like the way it feels to play. It always felt kind of awkward, and it's got like a really small hitbox, and it's got a cooldown. I mean, there's aspects that can reduce the cooldown, but overall it's just kind of clunky. So just being able to throw out tornadoes and apply the rabies is pretty cool. And I really like aspects like this. They can be built around multiple different ways, and you could try different things. You could also do this with Lightning Storm as well. Pretty much the same setup. You just switch it out for Lightning Storm. You could also do it on a Werebear. I have a pulverized version that pretty much does the same thing, but every time it crits with pulverize or any other skill for that matter, it casts rabies. So there are a lot of different ways you can build around this. I'm trying to figure out some way to do a boulder version, but I don't know if there's a way to be able to cast Hurricane while in Werebear form. If there is, I'm just missing it right now. I don't, because when you use Grizzly Rage, you can't cast Hurricane anymore. So I'm working on figuring that out. And then just sorting out this build. I'm really just gonna, like I said, keep pushing this and just figuring out what works best, what the best multipliers are to use for the build. And yeah, it's one of the probably most unique builds I've seen. Like ways to build things. It's pretty cool. I don't know how good it's actually gonna be. I don't even know if it can get up into tier 4s yet, but I'm sure at some point it probably can. I mean, damage is pretty steady. It's not bad for a 45. Really got to just see how far I could push this build, though. That's going to be the next goal. Just push it as far as it can go. Really got to upgrade aspects and stuff like that. Show the boss damage here. Only real problem is when Grizzly Rage goes down. So that's pretty much the build. Almost hit all those. So the rest of the aspects, I'm trying out Changeling's Debt. This says you deal 59% increased damage while hitting a poison enemy as a werebear or a crowd control enemy as a werewolf. We are pretty much always crowd controlling enemies. I think another really important one is Debilitating Roar is now a werewolf skill. In addition, I can't talk. Debilitating Roar will immobilize poison enemies for 4.1 seconds. It's a really nice bit of crowd control. Tempest Roar is pretty much required if you want to use Tornado in werewolf form. Mad Wolf's Glee. This gives a lot of skills to Rabies, plus levels to Rabies, and also Tornado, because Tornado becomes a werewolf skill. Ring of the Starless Skies, not required, but it's definitely decent. And let's just throw in a Nightmare Dungeon real quick. I've just been having a lot of fun playing this. I really like this build. Out of all the builds I played, and I've leveled every character this season, so this is probably my favorite one by far. I just hope I can get it up to the higher tiers at some point. Just run around zooming to my volume. I don't even think my game sound is up. Seems so quiet. So yeah, that's just really liking this. Got to figure out what I can really do to maximize the damage. I'm still trying to figure out what tempers are the best for this build. So that's the main thing. I think Grizzly Rage duration, either that or cooldown, are really important. Um, I don't know if it'll be better to have tornado projectiles cast twice or to have Rabies duration potentially. Throat's been so hoarse lately. So figuring out the tempers, I need to get an upgrade on the axe and the totem. I need ancestral for those. I had a really hard time finding those so far, so just keep on working and getting the upgrades, getting all that sorted out, and messing around with different tempers, seeing which ones really push the damage to where it needs to be. I really feel like Rabies duration doesn't really do much, but I have to mess around with it and see how it actually scales the damage and if it's actually going to be. Ooh, we almost lost Grizzly Rage there. That's like the one detrimental thing about the build is when you lose Grizzly Rage. Come on, give me some ancestrals already. So yeah, if you guys want to check out this build, I'll try to get some kind of post up or something. I don't really know how to make build guides or whatever, but I'll try to get that figured out at some point. I don't know if I could just like import my character. That would probably be nice if I could do something like that. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty simple. You just need Tempest Roar, aspect of the Rabid Bear, right? Yeah, aspect of the Rabid Bear really to get it going, and then the tornado aspect and stuff like that'll help. But that's aspect of the Rabid Bear and Tempest Roar are pretty much the main pieces to get this going. I don't know if this will be. I know like regular tornado builds are hitting for like 1 billion damage now that the updates are up, so I don't know how this would even compare to that. Give me all those resources. Just keep going. All right, so I got that done. So overall conclusion: rabies, tornado got a lot of buffs today with the mid-season update. I'll go over them again real quick. Aspect of the Rabid Bear got a buff. Rabies got a buff. Constricting Tendrils got a buff. Tornado got a buff. Um, shit, what else? I think that's everything. But it was a lot of buffs today for this build. So overall, it just feels that much smoother. So if you stumble upon this video and you want to check out this build, get yourself a Tempest Roar, get Aspect of the Rabid Bear, and you can get it going. So I'll just go over everything else real fast just in case anybody's interested because I don't have an actual build guide. Rampaging Werebeast on the totem, Changeling's Debt on the weapon. These could all be interchanged. I don't really know what's best for what. I have Storm Chasers on the gloves. That could actually probably get changed. Probably be better on the weapon. Um, and then Dire Wolf's aspect is on a ring. And then aspect of the Dark House on the boots. And then Mad Wolf's Glee isn't really required, but it is definitely a nice boost to your skills. And I just put this aspect, Wild Bolt aspect, on here because it pulls enemies towards you and you get a damage multiplier when it does so. I mean, this could literally be changed. I don't think this is like the best. I just wanted another damage multiplier. But yeah, so that's the build. I'm going to keep working on this and I hope everybody has a good one. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts on the build or tips or anything you might think work better. Yeah, leave it in the comments, hit that like button and subscribe. See you on the next one. Peace.